John Lusk here of Lusk Archery Adventures. Serious testing, successful hunting. Got another cool broadhead to test out today, again, all the way from Australia. And I don't know what it is, but Australia is really producing some fine broadheads. This is the KAYUGA, and it's the Gen 2 pilot cut. Okay, it's a single bevel, can be shot either as a 2-blade or as a 4-blade. I'm going to put it through all my tests, but first I'm going to zoom in here and go through some of the specs and design features. And I'm also going to be throwing in a test of what they call their old school model. Just kind of a classic single bevel head. It also comes in double bevel, but a classic 3-to-1 ratio length to width design. Let's zoom on in, go through some of the design features, and then see how these KAYUGA heads perform. Here you get a good look at the Gen 2 pilot cut. And the base is this head right here. That is a 400 grade martensitic stainless steel brought to a Rockwell hardness of 46 to 48, metal injection molded. It has a 33-degree bevel sharpened all the way around, even on the back side there, for ease of pulling out of a target or continuing to cut tissue within an animal if it's lodged within the animal. Has a really nice stout tanto tip to it. It comes in 4 different weights: 100 grain, 125, 150, and 175. This is the 125 grain model, and the 125 grain model is 0.063 inches thick with a cutting width here, cutting diameter of just over 1 1/8, so a little bit bigger than 1 1/8 inches. Now here's the 175 grain version. Man, that thing is a beefcake. I mean, this thing is incredible. Look how thick it is. It's about twice as thick. It's 0.12 inches thick, and the cutting diameter on that is a full 1 1/4 inches. Okay, then what you do is you can work it either as a 2-blade or as a 4-blade by adding the bleeders or the blanks. And if you just add the filler blades right here, kind of the blanks, they slide into that slot right there, and you basically just have a 2-blade head. There it is, with that slot filled. If you add the bleeders right here, you're adding a 0.63 inch wide cut. So you're adding over half an inch of cut right there. The bleeders are 0.032 inches thick by my measurements. So a nice thick bleeder. And when you add them, it looks like this. And it comes with that little O-ring to hold them in place and to keep them from backing up into your arrow if there's any kind of a super hard impact or something like that. So there it is with the bleeders added. Now they're working on a larger bleeder right here as well, which is really cool. That's almost a full inch of total cut in that bleeder. So really interesting. Now again, this is a 125 grain model, and like I said, it's 0.063 inches thick. Each of the weights are differing in thickness, and I really like that, where the weight of the broadhead is increased by making the broadhead thicker, not just adding a heavier O-ring where the integrity is the same, but actually strengthening the head. So the bigger the head gets, the heavier the head gets, the more durable it's going to be, the more stout it's going to be. I like the way that they've done that. Now I'm going to be putting this through all of my tests. I'm going to test it for edge sharpness and edge retention, for long range flight, for penetration, and for durability. And as always, I'm using my Bowtech SR6 set at 72 pounds, and I'm using Bishop FOC King arrows at 460 grains of total arrow weight. Now I'm also going to be testing another model that they make in their lineup, and that's just called the old school because it looks just like an old school head. This is a single bevel. It's got a 3-to-1 length to width ratio. Nice thick blade there, same blade angle, a 33-degree bevel. They also make this in a double bevel. So just for fun, I'm going to be testing that as well. But primarily, I'm going to be testing this Gen 2 pilot cut. Bullseye. 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 Now I'm going to test for edge sharpness and retention. And the way I do this is I do a push paper test to see if the blades can cut paper. And I see first if they can do that out of the box. And then I rub an Easton hex shaft over the edge. And what that does is it tests the edge retention. And I found that for whatever reason, this hex shaft is really a good test because within 5 strokes, it really separates those heads that can hold their edge from those that cannot. So let's see this Gen 2 pilot cut out of the box sharpness. 1 stroke of the arrow. 2 strokes. 3 strokes. 4 strokes. 5 strokes. So the Gen 2 pilot cut paper after 5 strokes of the arrow. Interesting that the rotation on both of these was exactly the same. It wasn't changed by the bleeders. They each rotated 90 degrees. Here are the KAYUGA heads after going through the 22 gauge steel plate 5 times. And here's the 2 blade. As you can see, it's in really excellent shape. And you can see the holes that it made there, classic single bevel hole. For comparison's sake, here's the old school, and it made a little bit more of an S cut than did the Gen 2 pilot cut. It's similar, but a little bit more of an S to it. And you can see the blades got pretty nicked up on that. I would have had to stop that after 4 shots, but I wanted to see what would happen if I continued to shoot it. And then here's the Gen 2 pilot cut 4 blade. And again, the main blades, you can't even tell they've been shot at all. That's just so impressive. And then the bleeders, you can tell they've been shot. They got dinged up. But for a bleeder, that actually held up really well. And you can see the hole. It's got that nice S cut, but then has the cross cut too. And that's going to create a wound channel that's pretty difficult to close up. So what'd you think of the KAYUGAs? Man, I got to tell you, very impressed. The old school head, you can check out the score sheet. It did fairly well. You can compare it to other 2-blade single bevel heads. But man, when we talk about the Gen 2 pilot, this is something really special. It performed super well in each of the tests. I love the straight edges. It makes it extra easy to sharpen. Love the thickness, love the durability, the penetration, the rotation, the flight. And I really like that in one broadhead, you can have a 2-blade to use in anything up to a Cape Buffalo. I mean, a really durable, great penetrating 2-blade head. Or you can add in the bleeder in the smaller size, the 0.63 inch bleeder, and use it for elk and moose, that size animal. And then when they come out with that 1-inch bleeder, you can slide that in there, and then you're set up for deer, hogs, all kinds of animals. So with one head, you have a lot of versatility. This is really something worth checking out. I can see why they can't keep enough in stock. They just keep selling out. Excellent job, KAYUGA.